What's going on, guys? Your boy Amazing. We're back with another video, and in today's video, guys, me doing the updated tier list for PvP and PvE in Grand Cross as of June 2024, guys. Now, I haven't actually made a tier list video in about a month and a half now. It's been a while, guys. We have 5 new characters to go over in terms of, kind of ranking them on the tier list. We have the, the PvE tier list here. We do also have the PvP tier list as well. We got a bunch of things that have changed in the meta, guys, with these characters releasing. And, we obviously had to do the updated version here. And, if you guys want to see last month's updated PvP, PvE tier list, definitely check out the link in the description. I'll link that to the previous one. And we're going to go over everything in this video in terms of each of these characters that we have here. And we're going to rank them accordingly, guys. So if you guys enjoy videos like this, definitely make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. I appreciate all the support on the channel as of late, guys. We are grinding the channel. We are getting very, very close to that 50K, man. So if you guys haven't hit that sub button already, man, you want to, help me out, definitely make sure to, man. And with that out of the way, guys, let's hop in and let's discuss the first character being the Ragnarok Scotty. Alright, guys, so this is the brand new Scotty that actually came out last month. Now, in terms of what she's actually able to do here, let's actually go over her kit together and we'll talk about where we're going to rank her on the tier list in general. Alright, guys, so for passive here, Master Hunter increases allies basic stats by 5% up to 20% and decreases all enemies attack related stats by 2% up to 20 for each debuff applied to allies. In addition, enemies hit by a hero all target attacks bleed for 2 turns, and allies damage dealt increases by 5% up to 40% for each debuff applied to enemies. And this is going to be able to be used, guys, active in when entering the battle, but you cannot use it in deathmatch content. Moving on to her first skill here, guys, she has Art of Hunting, decreases the hero's defense by 2% once for 3 turns, and inflicts damage equal to 250% of attack on one enemy, stacks up to 5 times. This actually scales up. You can see that there's 2 times of the defense debuff. So you get more debuffs on Scotty, and then 3, and as you guys can see, the scaling is about the same, I think, as the red Scotty in terms of her, single target that she had as well. So 625 on the rank 3, 375 rank 2, 250 rank 1. And then on our second skill here, guys, she has Winter Bomb, which is going to inflict pierce damage equal to 100% of attack on all enemies. This is going to be times 3 pierce rate increase. It's going to be 150, 250 as well. And bear in mind that this also has the added effect of bleed because of Scotty's passive. Moving on to her ultimate here, guys, it's just going to be your standard Scotty ultimate. Inflicts damage equal to 360% of attack on all enemies and restores HP of all allies by 30% of the damage dealt. And so that's going to be, pretty much the same throughout all the dupe levels. The only thing that changes is going to be the flat attack percent that's going to increase. And for you guys that don't know, Scotty also does have a holy relic as well, which is going to increase all stats by 6% up to 3 times if there are no debuffs on the hero when using a skill, and applies before skill activation. Alright, guys, so that is Scotty right there in terms of what her kit is actually providing. Now, where are we actually going to rank her on the tier list for PvP and PvE? Now, starting off with, I want to do PvP first, because I know this is pretty much a straightforward answer here in terms of PvP. And the place I'm actually going to put her, guys, is going to be in the C tier, underused or power creep or below average characters. And the reason why is because she actually has a viable team in Chaos Battle. That's literally the only reason I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt is Chaos Battle. The all target attacks having the bleed is actually solid. You can run her on a Ragnarok variant in Chaos Battle. Other than that, though, I'm not gonna even say she's sub meta. I'm not gonna say she's meta. Nothing like that. She's really just reserved to being a Chaos Battle character, guys. So just alongside Valentia from last month, I actually do think Scotty is kind of in the same boat in terms of kind of team comp to be running. And Chaos Battle does kind of suit these characters where they're gonna be really low points, but they're still viable characters to be running in the match. Alright, guys, and then moving over to the PvE side of the game, Scotty is going to go in the same tier as Valenti. Now, remember when we actually looked at her kit here, a lot of the things in her kit are kind of talking about, things you want on Ratatoskr. Now, she's not, I wouldn't say she's the main unit for Ratatoskr. We've already had Valenti, and now we do have this Scotty as well. I don't think she's actually the main unit for Ratatoskr, but a lot of the things she's doing, guys, is really helpful. Like, obviously, the all target attacks are going to be bleeds now, so her ultimate and her second card are going to be bleed AoEs, which, is needed on Ratatoskr, so that's obviously really good. The basic stat increase for the amount of debuffs on self, and also the attack related lower on the enemies is just, straight up. It's not like a debuff or anything. It just outright, lowers the attack related. So, there are definitely bonuses to to running Scotty alongside Valenti in Ratatosker. I don't know exactly how well the teams kind of mesh. From what I've seen, a lot of people do run Scotty alongside like Eller Zeldris for Rat. But for the most part, like if you're running Valenti and Scotty together, I think it might be not necessarily overkill, but we still need another character that is doing a little bit more than just those two characters anyway. You know what I mean? It's not even like an overkill thing. It's like you run Scotty and Valenti and you're still struggling through the fight. You know what I mean? It's one of those things, man. So yeah, I mean, Scotty right now is still a viable character in that you're actually able to use her in a lot of other content as well. She's usable in all other demonic beasts, so she does have that, you know, potential as well. So I don't want to, you know, take that away from her, even though, you know, she's kind of relegated to Rat. I actually do see the value in her being run on other demonic beasts. And so, yeah, I mean, Scotty's going to be a solid character, and so I actually will rank her in the A tier universal for most PvE content or made for demonic beast battle. Alright guys, so moving on now from Scotty, let's actually talk about LR Galland, the character that actually did, you know, become LR alongside Scotty. So let's actually pull up the game here and we'll talk about it. So Galland of Truth here, this is the LR Galland, guys, the blue Galland that has become LR now. Let's kind of talk about what he's able to do in terms of his kit and what he's providing for the team. Alright guys, so starting off with his passive here, Galland game, the hero's defense related stats increase by 20% for 3 turns at the start of the battle. The hero's attack related stats increase by 4% for 4 turns, up to 5 times whenever a demon ally uses a skill. Demon allies damage dealt increases by 50% if there is a petrified enemy. And then in addition, Galland coerces an enemy once at the start of the battle. The affected target cannot activate debuffs when using skills and may only target Galland. And Galland's damage taken from the target is decreased by 40%, and Coerce does not activate in deathmatch content. So everywhere else you can use this character and he will do fine. The only thing is that Coerce will not work in deathmatch, where it will work in pretty much all other content in the game. Alright guys, now in terms of his commandment did not change with the LR. It's actually going to be the exact same thing. Petrifies heroes who use rank up or rank down skills for 2 turns. Now moving on guys to his skills, we have the first skill being Amplify and Gauge Reduction. So Amplify is obviously 30% per active buff on self, 198% 1 gauge, 297% 1 gauge, and then 495% 3 gauge with, you know, standard Amplify, you know, scaling. And then moving on to his second skill here guys, we have the Dismal Scatter cut. It's going to inflict spike damage equal to 84% of attack on all enemies and makes them bleed for 2 turns. So we have a bleed spike card as well. Times 2 critical damage is going to be on the spike, and then bleed is going to be additional damage equal to 90% of the damage dealt at the end of every turn. This is going to scale from 84, 126, and 209% of attack. And then moving on to his ultimate here guys, critical over did actually get buffed by getting the sever effect right there. So times 3 critical chance, you gain 50% basic stats for 3 turns and inflict 630% of attack on a single enemy. So you're able to do that, you know, absurd amount of damage alongside the sever effect. Alright guys, so that is Galland's kit right there. Now, where are we actually going to rank the character on the tier list? Now, this is kind of a tough one, man. You know, Galland is not really that great of a character. You guys saw as well, he does not have a holy relic, right? You guys can see right there, he literally does not have a holy relic. So this is the first LR we've gotten in Galland Cross that has kind of had that, you know, a little bit of an issue on their release, and I don't think it's really a good thing for Galland, honestly. So if I had to rank him in PvE content, honestly, man, I don't even know how high I can even rank this character. I think at the most, I would probably have to say C tier. And another thing I actually have to change here is actually moving LR Glocks up to A tier because of Ratatosker. You know, that's one thing I actually did, you know, take into account now. Because you can run LR Glocks alongside Valenti and that team comp. I actually completely forgot to move Glocks. But yeah, no, LR Galland, worst LR in the game, guys. I mean, at the bare minimum, I'll give him C tier. You can still use him for his Amplify. You know, he's obviously going to be getting that attack-related stats as well alongside Demon Ally characters. So, you know, he still has, like, some, you know, damage potential, I guess. But what is really requiring you to use Galland in the game where you need, you know, his damage, when you can use literally any character in A tier, or even DK Meliodas himself, will just straight out damage his character and make this character kinda, you know, not even needed, right? He's kind of just irrelevant. Alright, so moving on to the PvP side of the game, Galland is also going to be in a very low spot in PvP as well. I think I am going to give him the C tier as well. Considering that he is kind of a low rank character in Chaos Battle, you still have that option of being able to use him there. But honestly, I don't think he's better than LR Glocks on like a fairy team. LR Glocks on a fairy team is way better than running Galland on a demon team, man. It's honestly night and day. Like, you know, comparing these two as like Chaos Battle teams. If you're running like Gloxinio with Jelly King, Elaine, like this team setup in Chaos Battle is easily going to be better than like any demon team setup you got with Galland, just because this team just does absurd amount of damage and has like really good tanking as well. So honestly, Galland really doesn't have too much going for him, guys. So I gotta slot him in the C tier across both PvP and PvE. You know, unfortunately, he's the most disappointing. Yeah, he really is the most disappointing LR character in the game. And, you know, that's just going to be the way it's going to be. So that's going to be LR Galland right there. Alright guys, so one thing I actually did notice on the tier list as well is that we actually did get a Holy Relic for Darriere and Trader Melly. Now, because on the PvE side of the game, Trader Melly was already in A tier, he's going to stay where he is. In PvP, I actually don't think he's going to change his slot either. I think he is still a C tier viable character. But we might have to, you know, maybe move up a little bit of the Darrieres here. Let me see, where are the rest of the Darrieres? Because I think their viability in PvE is actually a little bit better now with the way, you know, nuking is. I'll give, you know, Blue Darriere at least C tier. And then if we can find the green Darriere, I'll probably keep her in C tier as well if we can get her there too. Alright guys, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to leave the entire Darriere list in C tier. I think because of her Holy Relic, if you guys don't know, pretty much what it does is actually provides crit chance, crit damage for the character. I'll show you guys on the game real quick. We'll actually back out. I'll show you both Trader Melly and Darriere's Relic since they were added. Honestly, completely forgot about the characters. Because, you know, them getting relics weren't really, you know, very important things really with the update. But yeah, no, in terms of Darriere's, she increases HP by 5% for 3 turns each time the hero uses a skill up to 3 times. And when this, you know, effect reaches the max stacks, critical chances increase by 20 and critical damage by 80 for 2 turns. So mainly gonna help, obviously, the blue Darriere, but or the red one I mean, but the blue one will benefit, and also the green one as well in terms of like, you know, maybe Belmo strats will probably be a little bit better. So I am going to give it the benefit of the doubt. And then in terms of Trader Melly's Relic, his is mainly only to increase PvE viability, and we know Trader Melly was already a really good character in general, so I don't think that it's really going to change where his placement is either. But here is his you know, Holy Relic right here. In PvE, increases the hero's attack related stats by 5% up to 25%. Whenever an ally uses a single target attack skill, removes one debuff from an ally whenever the hero uses a all target attack skill. So you get 5% attack related when you do single targets. You get 1 debuff stripped whenever you do AoE. So really nice effect right there for Trader Melly. You know, he's able to still be a viable DPS, and you can actually use him if you don't have, you know, DK Meliodas. I think he is an option and can actually replace that character. Alright guys, hopping into the next character here that we have on the list, we're actually going to be going over the brand new UR Escanor here, guys. So Escanor the Indomitable released with the 5th year anniversary. Let's actually go over his kit and explain what this character is able to do. Alright guys, so starting off with his passive here, the Only Sun applies Burning Sun on the hero at the start of the battle. For 1 turn, the hero does not take more than 50% of their max HP as damage from skills during the enemy's turn. If the hero dies, allies gain Burning Sun for 3 turns, and then in addition, all the hero's stats are increased by 5% for each applicable ally participating in the battle, and the hero's attack related stats are increased by 20% for each applicable ally that dies. The hero is always immune to stat decrease effects as well. And then if we actually go over to what the Burning Sun effect is, it's going to inflict additional damage equal to 40% of the target's maximum HP when using a single target attack. And this is going to be for the applicable allies. In terms of that, it's going to be humans and 7 cents characters. Now, Escanor also does have a Grace effect, guys. He actually has the Mael Grace, obviously Grace of Sunshine, increases the hero's max HP and critical defense by 10%. So if you do have Escanor 6 out of 6 on the dupe level, you can actually run him as a link and be a viable HP critical defense link for a character. Alright, now hopping into his skills here, guys. For his first skill, we got the Bright Rush, which is going to inflict retribution damage equal to 200% of attack. This is going to scale from 200, 300, 500, and in terms of the actual effect on it, we got ×2 critical chance increase, and then 1.2% damage dealt for every 1% of the hero's remaining HP and diminished HP, and an additional damage equal to 50% of the final damage, which is going to be random damage when resulting in a death. So it's pretty much the death effect from Blue the One Escanor. You actually have that on his single target, which is kind of insane, right? It just randomly hits another person, and it does do a lot of damage because of that. So yeah, really good skill. And then moving on, guys, we got the second skill here being Burst Flare. Inflicts raging fire damage equal to 180% of attack on all enemies. This is going to scale from 180, 270, and 390% of attack. Raging fire is going to ignore enemy defense and resistance, and then provide a ×2 pierce rate increase. Now, moving on to his ultimate here, guys, this is obviously going to be dependent on the dupe level. My Escanor here is 4 to 6, so bear that in mind when, you know, looking at Escanor in terms of what he's able to provide. But at a 4 to 6 dupe level, increases all stats of the hero by 20% for 2 turns, and then inflicts hellfire damage equal to 650% of attack on all enemies. When participating in the battle, the hero incinerates the target's max HP by 60% of the damage dealt with the AoE skills or Raging Fire. Everlasting Flame is applied to enemies that have reached the maximum incineration, and in addition, Scorching Flame is applied to all enemies for 1 turn when the hero dies. Now, Hellfire is going to ignore 60% of defense related stats, and then Incinerate is going to incinerate up to 30% of the max HP at the start of the battle, and then if 30% of the max HP is 300k or higher, the maximum incineration is capped at 300k. Incinerated max HP can also not be healed, guys, so that's another thing as well about that. That's going to be a HP strip, and you cannot heal that HP back. Everlasting Flame is also going to be damage taken from Raging Fire skills plus 50%, and then the Scorching Flame effect is going to be damage dealt minus 40%, and additional damage equal to 40% of the remaining HP at the end of the turn. Alright, guys, so obviously Escanor is a very insane character in the game, man. Now, where are we actually going to rank this character on the tier list? Now, for PvE content, I'm going to give him a solid A tier. I think he's on the level of, you know, pretty much all the characters in this list. I think even the light ultimate Escanor is kind of in the same boat as this new Escanor in terms of PvE related content. What new content in PvE are you able to clear with this Escanor over the other one? There really is nothing. I mean, you're going to be pretty much clearing the same content you would have cleared with the other ultimate Escanor, which we have in the exact same tier. And so, in my opinion, in PvE, I think this Escanor is still going to be on this level. I don't think he's as good as DK Melly or LR Elizabeth as well. I think he's still a tad bit under those characters. But in general, he's still a very viable PvE character. You can actually run him on a mono human team as well, and he'll be speedrunning pretty much through, like, all the demonic beasts that are available, like, you know, other than, like, Ratatoskr and, like, Nidhogg. You know, you can literally speedrun through Bird, Deer, and Skull and Hottie with this Escanor on a full human team, and it's really insane. So I will definitely be giving him the A tier for that. Now, in terms of the PvP tier list, guys, and where we're actually going to rank Escanor, we gotta put him in the top tier of PvP, guys. So in terms of what we're going to do here on this setting, I think I'll put him on the in the human batch right here. And I think with Escanor's release and the human team being as it is actually a very prominent team and is really good. The one thing though that I will say is that the Sins team actually did get a major upgrade with this character. So actually I'm going to bring up You Are Gulther, and then also I'm going to bring up what is it, Valentine? No, I'm gonna bring up Merlin. Yeah, so Merlin is gonna be on the Sins team as a backline, and then you run the brand new You Are Gulther, obviously alongside the new Escanor, and yeah, with DK Meliodas. So that's gonna be an insane team as well. And we're actually gonna move down the unknown team, guys, to the tier under, because I don't think right now they're really as good as the, you know, the teams above here. I think it's gonna be Demons, Sins, and Humans right now in the meta that are really strong, and then unknowns you get, I guess you could put kind of at the 4th, and then maybe Goddesses at the 5th, I guess, in terms of like the best teams in PvP. So yeah, no, I mean, there's not really much in terms of like, you know, what's really changed in the meta, guys. I mean, Humans are still going to be a staple. You got Demons being a very strong team as well, and then Sins as well. So like, you know, You Are Gulther, Escanor, DK Melly, and then Merlin backline. I mean, a full UR, you know, team right there. I mean, that's really strong as well. Alrighty, guys, now moving on from Escanor, we do actually have Perceval, which is the 5th year anniversary second half unit. let's actually talk about exactly what this character is able to do and where we're going to be ranking him on the tier list. So we have the Boy of Hope Perceval here, guys. Let's hop into his unique. So a new beginning applies perseverance on the hero for 2 turns at the start of the battle. For each applicable ally participating in the battle, their defense related stats is going to increase by 10%. And then in addition, when the hero uses a single target attack skill, the target is inflicted with the focused attack effect for 2 turns, and the hero's HP related stats increase by 10% for each surviving ally, and the hero's critical damage increases by 100% for each dead ally. And then in terms of perseverance here, guys, it's going to be the hero takes 30% of the allies' damage for them and immediately recovers 50% of the damage taken. It kind of is like a blue Tarmiel effect, but it also is in a sense a red Tarmiel effect because you instantly get the recovery, you know, as the attack hits you. So it's kind of just like red Tarmiel in that sense, but it's also the fact that you have blue Tarmiel because of the fact that he's reducing the damage for the entire team. And then in terms of the applicable allies here, guys, we got humans and 7 deadly sins characters respectively. And then the focus attack is going to be critical resistance minus 30%, plus 50% damage taken when hit with a single target attack 2 times during the enemy's turn. And damage taken increase only activates once per turn. Alright guys, in terms of the single target here for Perceval, we got the rush effect. So it's going to be 150, 250 for 50% of attack. Rush is going to be times 2 critical chance increase and 100% damage dealt against enemies affected by the focused attack. And then moving on to his second skill here, guys, we got the immature slash. This is going to be a gauge reduction effect at 1 gauge, 2 gauge, 3 gauge respectively, and then 120, 250, and 450% of attack on each of the scale of the character. And then moving on to his ultimate here, guys, and this ultimate really is not dupe dependent. Even though I am 30 to 60, only thing that changes in this ultimate is the attack percent right here, but increases the hero's attack related stats by 50% for 2 turns, and increases one enemy's damage taken by 50%, then inflicts sever damage equal to 600% of attack, and sever is obviously going to be times 3 critical chance when hitting the enemy. So a very, very strong single target ultimate. Alright guys, so now that we've gone over Perceval's kit, where are we going to be ranking this character on the tier list? So we got, in terms of PvE content, where are we really going to be seeing Perceval use? Honestly, I really don't think we're going to see much usage out of this character. He's mainly a character you bring on the team for kind of tanking, and because Perceval is not really dealing damage himself, I don't really see much viability in PvE. The only real thing that I could say that you might actually run him in terms of PvE might be for the defense related ability he provides from the backline for sins and humans. But other than that, I mean, we're not really going to be running the character for that reason. In PvE specifically, so I don't really think he's going to have much use. I will give him the benefit of the doubt with C tier because I do think, you know, focused attack could be decent in PvE, but I mean, he's not going to be anything crazy. He's not going to be doing damage like Escanor. He's not going to be doing damage like DK Melee. He's not really supporting the team like that as well. So yeah, I mean, not really doing too much in the PvE side of the game. Now, in terms of PvP, though, we have a completely different, you know, thing to talk about here. I would say right now in the meta, I actually do think that the human team is the only team that can consistently go second with this character and actually win matches, guys. If you're running this setup right here, like, I think I will move Bond probably to the A tier, and same with Naofumi as well, because I do think the best human team right now in the game is actually going to be these 3 characters, and then we can also actually move Jillian up in the rankings as well, because that is a viable character you can actually be running now in the game. So let me actually grab Jillian here wherever she is. Alright, so we got Jillian right here, guys. We're actually going to put her at least in the A tier. I'm not going to put her in S tier right now because I don't think that that's the best variant of that team. I actually do think LR Liv's backline on this team is a little bit better for CC, but I do think that you can run this as a backline, and this could be a really, really strong going second human team because of the way Perceval works and providing that 2-turn perseverance so that Chaos Arthur is able to get his full passive instantly, and then you're able to kill the opposing enemy, you know, fairly quickly, guys. So yeah, no, Perceval right now in the meta, you know, easily one of the top units in the game. I am going to put Jillian, Transcendent Bond, and Naofumi in the A tier as well. They are viable options. Same with, you know, like Yuri. I think these are all viable options on the human team right now in the game. But if we're talking about the best one right now, guys, it's definitely going to be this lineup right here. And then you do have your other team variants as well. Alright, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to move up the Sin team because I do think it is a little bit better than Demons. And then we'll have Demons be right at the 3rd slot. So I think right now, in terms of the meta, guys, it's going to be either Humans or Sins. And then we do also have the Demon team as well in the top tier of the meta. And I think right now, nothing in terms of that has really changed too much. And I think they're all, you know, really, really strong teams that you can run in the meta. Alright guys, now hopping into the final character we have here on the tier list, both being for PvE and PvP, we got Wild here. So let's actually hop on the game and talk about exactly what this character is able to do. Alright guys, now in terms of what Wild's able to do, let's actually talk about his unique here. So when participating in the battle with applicable allies, all stats of the hero and the applicable ally stats are increased by 50%. This is going to be for Captain Hawk units and Oslo and Hawk characters alongside Wild himself. So they actually do just gain a 50% all stats buff when you're running them together, which is a really strong effect. Now moving on to his skills here guys, for a single target it's going to be a pierce single target, triple the pierce rate increase, 200, 300, 500% of attack respectively. Alright guys, now moving on to his second skill here, it's going to be a gauge reduction effect. So gauge reduction at the first rank, 120%, 300, 450. It's going to be 1 gauge at the rank 2 and 3 gauge on the rank 3. And then moving on to his ultimate here guys, he's going to have sever single target. So sever 630% of attack on a single enemy and triple the crit chance increase as well. Alright guys, now as you can see, because I haven't even leveled this character up like that, Wild is not really a character that's gonna be useful in, really the game at all. I mean, he is a character that does exist now in the game and is a viable option in a few things I will mention, but he's not really an insane character that's gonna be in the top of the meta or anything like that, so don't even think about that. Where I will rank him though, at least in the PvE side of the game, I'll give him at the bare minimum. Nah, I gotta give him D tier. I was gonna say maybe we could do higher, but honestly, like, I don't really see a use for Wild in PvE. One thing though, for PvP, I will actually give him the benefit of the doubt and put him in the C tier. Now, the reason why I actually think he's in the C tier, and this will go with the other Oslo and Hawks as well, is because of Chaos Battle. Like, Chaos Battle actually makes that unit viable because you get 50% all stats, alongside the fact that these Oslo and Hawks actually did get a Holy Relic, where they do increase, I think it's HP by 30%, which is a really big, insane amount. Where you have that alongside the fact that you're also getting the defense from the green one. So if I can find the green Oslo and Hawk as well, he also, because we're getting that, HP increase as well, is really viable to be able to run that character. Yeah, so Oslo and Hawk is going to be in the exact same tier as Wild guys in terms of PvP. Main reason because of the fact that he has that Holy Relic and he works alongside Wild, where you're going to be getting 30% HP, 50% defense, and then also the fact that you're getting the 50% all stats on top of that is actually really insane in Chaos Battle. And you can run this like variant where you run either him and the green Oslo Hawk, or you can even run the red or the blue one. Those are definitely viable options as well. So yeah guys, that is going to be the updated tier list as of June 2024, man. I did take a minute to get this video out guys, so a lot of things kind of got caught in the way, but yeah, no, this is what the tier list looks like, so you guys can obviously see this. If you do want to see the actual full tier list itself, I will link it in the description as well, so you guys are able to see it yourself, if you don't want to just like pause the video and look at it that way. But this is the PvP tier list. Now moving on to the PvE tier list, this is what it's gonna look like as well. So that's going to be it for the video. I hope you guys did enjoy. Thank you guys for watching the video, and let me know where you guys would put these characters on the tier list. Are you going to put them in the S tier, A tier, B tier, C tier, wherever the case? Let me know in the comments below. And with that out of the way, that's going to be it. I'm going to see you guys in the next one, man. Peace out, and have a great rest of your day, guys. See you later, man.